Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Boss Babe Blog Podcast. I'm your host, KeTohn, and today I have two lovely guests, members of our directory, who are going to be talking about a really important discussion, which is helping you have better business relationships. So today we have the wonderful Lacole Smith, founder of AL Publishing and Consulting, also Motivational Talk, Dialogues, and Show. I was just recently on her show. Thank you for joining, Lacole. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm excited to have this conversation. And then thank you for joining. We also have Tiffany. So Tiffany is joining us from Radiantly Crowned. Hello. She's also a new member of our directory. So welcome, Tiffany. Again, we welcomed her last night, but I'll say it for anyone that's just now hearing or watching this podcast. And Tiffany is actually in the field of helping women get out of toxic relationships, and not just relationships romantically. It can be toxic work relationships, toxic friendships, toxic family relationships, but just learning how to transition out of those and get that closure for yourself so you can really take ownership of your healing journey. Welcome, Tiffany.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Did I do okay, y'all, with the intros? How'd I do?
You did wonderful.
Love
Flip it
it.
up.
You
Okay.
did wonderful.
So today's conversation is about having better business relationships, and I want everyone to know that we are going to address each type of relationship as we go throughout the year. So don't feel like, we're missing pieces, because we're going to come back to it. But today we are specifically talking about how entrepreneurs can have better relationships with their contractors or people that they are hiring for a service. So this is service providers, website designers, social media contractors, consulting contractors, coaching contractors, anything that you would be hiring somebody on a contract to do something for your business. So I just want to give my own experience and insight for newer entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs that have been in the game for a long time. And then I want to let Lacole and Tiffany also share that as well. So I want to kind of start off and just go straight into it. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay, because I'm gonna switch it out as we speak. So, hello everyone. My name is KeTohn. I'm the founder of BossBabeBlog.com, and you are at the Boss Babe Blog podcast. If you're watching us live, drop hashtag replay if you're watching the replay, and come join the conversation. So today I'm just sharing insight for any entrepreneurs that want to elevate their quality of relationships on how you can have a more enriching experience with your contractors, people that you are hiring to do work for you. Okay. So oftentimes when we hire somebody to do a job for our business, we're hiring them to take care of our baby. It's like dropping off your kids at somebody's house to be watched, right? So you're feeling like the entire time, oh, this is my baby, and I don't know if I'm ready to drop you off. How are you with kids? How well do you speak to them when they need help? What are your solutions when there's a problem? Are you able to handle certain things without me waking up to a notification that I didn't want to wake up to, that would make me feel like I should have done this myself? So these are all things that go through our head when you're getting ready to contract somebody. Can anybody relate to that over there on the right side? Can you relate to that? Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So with all of that being said, there's something that you can do that will help you to have a better return on investment. And that is learn how to empower people versus micromanage people. And it's also learning that being a leader does not mean that you are always leading. Because oftentimes when people hear the word CEO, founder, boss, leader, they automatically assume that means that you are the person doing everything or leading everything. That is not always the case. A strong leader understands that they don't know everything. A wise person understands that they don't know everything. They may be smart in some areas, but you are not smart in every single area, or you're not smarter than everyone else. Somebody who is intelligent understands that. So when they are looking for service providers, contractors, yes, it's important to share with them what your vision is, what your hopes are. But it's also extremely important that when you go into this, you're not going in like that micromanager that you have at work that nobody wants to talk to, hear about. And, they kind of like a fly in your ear. You just be like, yeah, we don't want to do that, because what happens is you get people who are kind of like, almost don't want to be there, and it's going to turn it into a job for them. Even though it is a job for them, they love what they do, and when they work with clients that they have a great rapport with, it becomes like fun. It becomes more than a job. It's a mission, but you turn it into a job when you start off with that experience of micromanagement versus empowerment. So you really want to make sure that you do your research on who it is that you're hiring to do these contracting positions. And then once you do your research, you want to let them sit down, get in there, sit down, and just let them do their job. Because what ends up happening is that micromanagement takes away time that could have been spent on really elevating your project. And we can't let any seconds go by wasting time on conversations that don't align with your growth. And also, you're hiring them to do the work for you. You're not hiring them to teach you the work. And sometimes professionals don't understand the difference. I'll give you an example. I had a time where I had to decline something because I had someone who said they wanted a service. Once they proceeded to receive the service, they then started to question every single step that I was taking for that service. Now, questions are fine because it's your business. You want to understand. But when you start giving actions or trying to tell people what needs to be done, and you do not have the experience in the area that you are questioning or trying to give direction in, or you do not have as much experience, now you're becoming a hindrance to the point where my productivity is going to be slowed down because you want to take over that wheel that you don't need to be driving in. Some cars we don't need to be driving in. You don't have a license to be here. Get out of the driver's seat and get in the passenger seat. That's what we have to learn. And it's hard. It's hard because it's your baby. And, you have ego, you have pride, you have fear, all of these different factors when you're developing these new relationships surrounding your business. But we got to put all that to the side and ask one question. Do I know what I'm talking about? Do I have results on what I'm talking about? Do I have experience on what I'm talking about? Have I researched what I'm talking about? Because if you can answer all those questions with a yes, then this message is not for you. If you cannot answer all those questions with a yes, and some of these thoughts and questions and comments that you're giving your contractors and service providers are coming from emotion, that's not a conversation we need to be having. That's kind of like, in any other area of your life, if you come to somebody and you tell them, hey, I need you to run and then jump across that pond. And they say, well, what experience do you have in it? Oh, none, but I need you to do it because it just makes more sense my way. That doesn't sound right, right? So, you don't go to the doctor. I mean, you might tell the doctor what your ailments are and you guys work together to find that solution, just like in any other area, but you don't go to the doctor and tell the doctor how to do it. In many cases, if it's a credible doctor, which also goes into the factor of do the research on the professionals before you work with them. Don't go and, jump into it, because if you do that research, then, you just need to trust them and step back and let them do their job. And that's going to create a relationship that's going to allow them to really soar with your project and not have to be doing double work. Double work is a nightmare to service providers and to entrepreneurs, heck, to people who wants to come to a job and have to do double work because the person who is leading you or the person who is supposed to be leading you is not leading with empowerment. They're leading with micromanagement, which turns into wasted time and wasted conversations. We are here to make this money and go home, be happy, know we did a great job. That's what we want to do. So let's make that experience pleasant for you, but also for your contractors, because that's what differentiates this being another job, another project, to it being a mission that they are empowered and excited about. So I just think that it's really important that we don't allow that need for control to disrupt a really fruitful and productive relationship with a professional that is credible and knows what they're doing. We got to be able to step back for a moment and let people do what they do best. Give them that quiet, especially if they are a creative, a true creative. There's something about us creatives where we need moments of quiet, and everyone doesn't quite understand it. Sometimes friends don't understand it. Sometimes family might understand it. Sometimes clients may not understand it, but I need moments of silence. It's like when I'm thinking and I'm processing something in my head and I'm thinking about all the ways something wonderful can go. And then you just have somebody in your ear in the background. If you just move, change the color to blue. If you did it, I need silence because I need to process this. I need to process this because I'm not just thinking about my feelings and what I like. I'm thinking about what may be the best outcome for your industry or your business or the project that we're looking at or your funding status. These are all things that I have to put into play when I'm doing these projects. So every conversation, every move is intentional, and it's based off of a thought process that I've already done before I got to that point with you. So find a service provider that you trust and get to a place where you can release and you can just let them do their job. That is the recommendation that I would give to have more enriching relationships. Because I'm telling you, when you give that creative that space to do that, they will do amazing things. I love the projects that I do. They're fun for me. My clients give me free reign, and sometimes clients may have preferences. They may say, well, I want this or I want that, and you still need to be considerate of that because it's their business. But in many cases, when your clients trust you and they understand that you understand what they're needing or what they're wanting, they give you that free reins. So you need to first be a service provider that knows how to build that trust and have that those skills to where you're confirming for your clients that you can really help them. And then you need to secondly be that client who understands when you're dealing with a professional that has their own system. Don't try to come in and change the reins and the principles and the layouts and the time frames. Don't do that. There's a whole system that's been put in place, and that's because they have been doing this for a long time. So you need to step back and let them do what they do best. That's how you see wonderful results on both ends. So did you ladies want to speak to any of that? Did you have anything you want to piggyback off of?
I kind of want to say something about that. And I want to say this because I was one that was leading with emotions when it came to my logo.
Mm,
And I was very specific on what I wanted, but I knew that I needed a change. I
mm-hmm.
knew that something in my logo needed to change. I knew that something needed to be a little different, but I still wanted to feel the love of my parents in my logo.
Yes.
So, KeTohn can agree with this because she had to deal with me. She had to deal with me with the logo. And she kept telling me, AL Publishing and Consulting is luxurious. It needs to be something that's going to pop. It needs to be something that speaks you. And I was like, I know what I want. This is what I want. And she was like, okay, so I'm going to go to the drawing board. I'm going to do this. And she basically told me, if you don't like this, you just going to stay with what you
I
get.
had to because that was a sensitive topic. That wasn't like, oh, I don't like it because my favorite color is red. This was something to do with the logo being emotionally tied to her mother and her parents, and they passed. So that wasn't like I'll just push this on and we'll do that. It was like, okay, I'm already on thin ice because it's a really, really tough topic. And I definitely don't want to come across as someone who was worried about a sale over the emotions of my client because that wasn't my intention. But sometimes people don't see what your intention is, they just see the action. So the intention was, I see something really big for her, and I don't feel like this logo is necessarily representing what it needs to for her brand. It's a beautiful photo, but it was more like an image, like a graphic, like perfect for flyers, perfect for a logo tee, perfect for a book. There's a lot of things, and it could be used as a logo as well. But I really just wanted the best, and I felt I could deliver and showcase. And I was like, I gotta get this across. But I made it clear to myself because I thought about this before I came to you. I want you to know that I thought about this for a long time. I I was like, oh, I don't want Miss Lacole to go
Not
off
to
on me.
mention this was we
I
done
thought
skipped some
about
parts because this was the second time she came to me with one, and I was
it.
like,
Yes.
nah, I ain't feeling it. Nah, I want what I want. And she brought it to me again, and you sometimes you have to take the emotion part out of it. And she still told me she was gonna do the best that she could to keep my emotions intact, but still deliver what I needed delivered for my brand. And she did it. I'm not gonna I love it. It actually was more than I anticipated. It exceeded my expectations. And sometimes we have to take the emotions out and allow people to, like she said, do their job, do what they're good at. And if you don't like it, you can tweak it, but don't say no just because your emotions are tied to it. Had I said no to the logo that she gave me and stuck with the one that I had, would I still get sales? Probably yes. But would it look the way it looks on a business card? Will it give the image that it gives when people see my logo, when they see me speak, when they see me doing the things that I'm doing? Will it give that elegance and that level of legacy that I'm putting out for my brand? It wasn't that. but the one that she created is. So sometimes we just got to take those emotions out.
I really appreciate you for sharing that, Lacole, because it definitely was something that was important, near and dear to my heart. But I didn't want to make you feel as if your emotions weren't being thought of, or like I was more concerned about the sale. And that's what I was worried about. Even though, in all honesty, I don't feel like you would have thought that anyways, because you had already expressed that you wanted to shop with me well before that conversation. So we kind of already knew that you were going down that route. But in my mind, I was thinking, oh God, I'm gonna call her and she gonna be like, let this girl ask me one more time if I want to change this. So I was just nervous and but I did come back to her that second time. And like Lacole said, I said, this is what I feel like is right for your brand based off of where you're going. And if you don't like it and you don't want it, okay, we'll work with what you have. But if you do like it, we're going to add that in complementary with what you got going on. And, like she said, she kind of thought on it a little while. And then she said, okay, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to try this. And this is what her logo looks like. So at the bottom, middle in the screen, both of these logos are actually outsourced through me. So one of them is Motivational Talk, Dialogues, and Show. That was one logo. Let me zoom in for you so y'all can see it a little bit better. I do apologize for the size. I couldn't bring up a photo fast enough, but this is Motivational Talk, Dialogues, and Show. So this is her talking show, and it's a logo that represents her. So that's actually her with the mic, speaking. So that was the first one that was created for one part of her brand that, it's a show created, but it's also funded and produced through AL Publishing and Consulting. And then here is the second logo, the one that's in the middle. And that logo is gold and it says AL Publishing and Consulting on it. And it was very intentional because I wanted to feel like, those, ink stamps that you know what I'm talking about. Not ink stamps, wax. It was the wax that you stamp onto the notebooks back in the day, or the notes, the envelopes. I wanted it to feel magical, but instead of it being that traditional orange or reddish color, I made it gold because gold is one of Lacole's colors. And then she loved the sunflowers, and that represented someone dear to her. And so that's why I wanted to make sure we kept the sunflowers incorporated. The font, making sure it was nice and smooth and very romantic and beautiful, and makes you think of like a storybook theme, like she's about to open up a book and say once upon a time. That's what I was going for with her logo. So that's the level of intention that goes behind the design process for each and every one of my clients. And I think through this, so it's not like I woke up in the morning and I was like, I'm gonna try it. I drew these things out. I outsourced some things to the best designers that have over 20 plus years in the industry. So, and then before anything gets published, I review everything. So I'm saying all that to say thank you, Lacole, for trusting me and allowing me to do that. Because I think we've accomplished some beautiful things together when it comes to continuing to refine your vision, your brand. So, high five to
And
us.
one of the things that you don't know about the logo, the circle to me represents a moon, which is one of the things that my father wanted in his casket.
Mm-hmm.
And the little snaps that go around it, um, I look at those as the stars because he wanted the moon and the stars. So it definitely hit where it needed to hit, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Don't make me get all emotional all over again. Look, we got through this the first time and we cried about this the first time. We can't do this again. But oh, I can't hear you. You on mute. But what'd you
We
say?
did, we did, we
Yeah,
did.
we did. We did. We did. We did. It was a beautiful thing though. Beautiful. That is a perfect example, Lacole. So thank you for sharing that. Tiffany, did you have anything you wanted to piggyback off of this topic or share any of your own experience?
I would just say, I mean, y'all hit it on the nail. Definitely go in with it. If you're gonna have someone doing something for your business, keep an open mind. Definitely express what it is that you're looking to keep, but do keep an open mind because you are hiring an expert. And I would also say, from my experience, um, if you know you're gonna be needing to hire someone to come in and do something for you, leave enough time to get it done. I have been known to be last minute, and then when you're last minute and what should have the person may have needed 2 weeks and you want it done in 2 days,
Oh, yes. Oh my
you
goodness.
probably gonna get a 2 day job, and then there you are upset because
Ooh,
this looks rushed. You gave them 2 days.
my goodness, Tiffany.
So I would definitely say, um, be sure that if you know there's something that needs to be done, definitely do your research, keep an open mind, and give the person that you're giving the job to enough time to actually do their job. So
Yeah.
that way that you get the quality
Hmm.
and you get, the product that you've outsourced. Because like I
Yeah.
said, if you trying to get somebody to do a 2 week job in 2 days, they probably gonna give you a 2 day job, and you would have to take responsibility and accountability for that. I have to admit I've been there.
Hmm.
All of a sudden, oh, I need to get somebody, and then when I get it back, I'm like, what? But but I only gave them enough time to give me a what? So and so when you go in with someone and you know that you haven't given them enough time, take some of that accountability for yourself. And that's what I would add to that.
Yes, yes. I'm sorry. I just need to come back to to stage one time for this one because you definitely, you definitely got me going for a second. Listen, um, here's the thing. When it comes to design, yes, some projects do require you. You might have a project that you say, okay, I need this website up, and I need it up in 3 days, or I need it up in one day. There are service providers out there that are able to provide that. You can purchase expedited services, which would mean that you would be getting it done a lot faster than what you normally would. And what comes with that is they take that funding and they're able to now outsource to multiple people and hire a team on to get this done a lot quicker. So, what that would even look like for me, because I've had people purchase expedited services, is I take that funding and I go get the best professionals that I work with that I trust. I'm able to alleviate certain things so that I can focus on speeding this project up and getting it done at the time frame that they said they wanted. So is it possible for you to come to nbc.click or bossbayblog.com is a little different because we're marketing, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm not opposed now. There's something out there. But nbc.click, it is possible for you to go and you pay an expedition fee, and then we do outsource so we can get that done faster. So if you said I need a website up and I need it done in one day, yes. 7 to 11 pages, yes. Quality, yes. SEO, search engine optimization, yes. It can be done. Social media page up and running, yes. Yes. Marketing and advertising plan, yes. In 3 days, yes. All of that, yes. Because the funding allows me to do that. But sometimes, like Tiffany said, if we just jump into it and we're like, okay, no, I need this and I need this now, but we're wanting that to be done at a certain price point. And might be a little different for me. I'm not speaking necessarily on Tiffany's behalf, but like in general, if you're wanting it done, but your funding status says that you have to get it at this price, you have to be realistic with where you're at. So if your funding status tells you that you have to get this, you're going to get this website in 1 week, then you're going to have to find a website provider that is credible that can deliver in 1 week. You can't say, well, my funding status says I need this done in 1 week, but I want it done in one day. So I'm going to go look for somebody who can get it done in one day at the same price. Sometimes you might find them, but do you always want them? An answer is no. If just in case we didn't know, it was rhetorical. You don't always want them. Matter of fact, you're running by the time you're finished. So that's something to think about for anyone out there. Like as service providers, I can't tell you enough. Like those are some of my inner thoughts. But obviously, I cannot express that in that way. I keep it professional. I keep it polished because I don't want people to feel as if we can't get this business taken care of, because we can. But I have had moments where I had to decline a project because I could see that someone was expecting a level of like production, but the funding status was not realistic for that. If you're coming to me and you say, hey, KeTohn, I have $200, but I need this website and I need it done in 3 hours. I'm looking behind me to see who it was you were pointing to because it had to be another KeTohn. It's the only one in this world, but maybe in a different dimension. So I'm just, we have to think about those things. Sometimes people they don't really, I can't, We have QuickSight in our directory. They do provide $100 websites, and you can get it done within 1 to 3 business days. So stuff like that, that's very affordable. That's an amazing deal for a website because that's almost cheap compared to what a website normally would cost you, around 1,000 to 2,000 up to $10,000, depending on the work that you need. Websites are expensive. So anything less than, I would say, about $1,000, $500 is on like the low end of a website. So that's a good price. Grab it, but don't get there and be like, I need it in 3 hours, or blowing up your designer's phone talking about, did you finish? Did you finish? Did you finish? It's me by myself. I can't hire anybody to do this. You paid me $50. What am I gonna have left if I outsource that? Doesn't even cover 1 hour for an outsourcing. What we so yes, by all means. But let me get off of that, because if I don't, I will be in a whole nother podcast. But, but Tiffany, did you want to go, or Lacole, either of you want to go and share your advice on what you think a person can do to have a better relationship with their contractors and service providers to be more productive?
I can do this one, I guess. I'm gonna go
Okay.
ahead and do it. Um, my thing is remembering. Um, One of the things I want to say is remember that these are small businesses. Most of these businesses are doing this job themselves. They don't have a team. Some of them do have a team, and some of them don't have a team. But when you're putting out deadlines, and when you're saying, like KeTohn was saying, when you're saying you need jobs done, let's be mindful of the fact that this person is working by themselves sometimes. Let's be mindful of the fact that life does life. And just like things happen to you, things might happen to that person as well, which might delay your deadline. But are you going to still get the correct service? Sometimes we have to keep in mind what people are going through mentally while they're doing your project. But sometimes they're holding it together with a piece of glue, and they're still producing the things that you need produced. They're still putting out the work. But if you're steady adding on to it, but you're not adding the money, or if you're steady saying,
Amen.
I won't,
Amen.
I won't, but you don't want to add the money, then, and I usually be so bad at this, but what, uh, just be mindful that they're gonna give you what you pay for, and if you want to go the extra mile and you want them to do the extra things before they start the job, maybe ask them, are you doing this by yourself? You know, I've had people want things that uh with publishing, and it's like hooked on phonics, and I'm over here debriefing myself. So I'm scratching my head trying to edit, and you say, have you finished reading it? I'm trying to understand it. What are you talking about? Have I finished reading it? No, I ain't finished reading it. Look, can you debrief me on this language? Because it's clearly not the language that I speak. So, sometimes the delays are not the delay of the person that is doing the job. So don't always put the blame on the person that's doing the job, because sometimes it's not their fault. Sometimes the delay is because of the person that's asking for the job to be done. So we got to make sure that when we're bringing our laundry to the laundromat, that it's ready to be washed and not have to be soaked before you put it in the wash machine. I'm gonna
Amen.
say it like that. That's a
Amen.
nice way of saying it.
Amen.
So
I
I,
cannot.
I, that's a nice way of me saying it. So
Oh Lord.
that's kind of what I got. Um, I talked about the emotional part of it. So that's pretty much where I'm at with that one.
Yeah.
It's just, I understand because I've been through a lot of things, and my clients stood by me because they understood me. So if you understand the person that you're contracting, and you know the level that they give you, and sometimes and that level is not there, then ask them if something wrong, ask them if something going on, or if they tell you that something's going on, don't push them harder than what they need to be pushed when you probably the problem or the reason why they're in the situation that they're in anyway. But
She,
let's just be
like she was
mindful
talking
of
to
the things.
somebody specific.
I really, I really wasn't. I was not. I was not. I do not want to get this live kicked out. But um, let's just be mindful, and I'm gonna leave it at that because you know me. So
Yes, no, that is actually a wonderful sentiment. I think there's a balance here. What I'm combining a message from what Tiffany said and what you said to express this. And I think that it's not that you can't be your biggest advocate, because you should be your biggest advocate. Like Tiffany was saying, if there's something that you're needing, if there's something that you're wanting, express that, communicate that. Like you said as well, ask these questions. But also understand that there's a lot that goes into this process, and it isn't just a blink and it's done. Sometimes AI or computers can do certain things to an extent, but when you are dealing with a full team of people, maybe they are using AI to get certain things done, but you're still dealing with a team of people. And then, like she said, how large is this team? Are they outsourcing? The question you could really ask too is, are you able to deliver at this capacity, at this volume? And, if anything was to not be the case, what is your return policy? What is your this? Are you able to deliver this? Ask those initiative questions, those questions where you're looking for deliverables, to find out if they're the right fit for you based off of their size or based off their clientele or how much space they have to deliver a project. And then what you said, it is true. Sometimes people don't realize that they're the delay. Like, I've had people who are like, I need this, I need that, I want this, and I need to hurry up and get sales. And I'm like, okay, did you go do the list that I told you to do? Well, okay. Don't come back over here. Don't you come back over here till you didn't finish that list now. Don't you come back. Don't you point to one more thing that you want that you ain't finished this first list. We got it. What we doing? I've had times where I had to put the blinders on people because I had people that were like, I want I want this and I want that, and I need to understand why my sales aren't this. And I'm like, well, first, did you complete the homework that I gave you from our first session so that we can break down why your sales are where they're at? If you have not completed that, we can't talk about it. So, that is very true. We have to make sure that we are prepping. We're making sure we're doing what we need to do on our end. Get that stuff delivered. Don't have, people waiting to deliver that contract for you if they need certain things, if they need information sent out, whatever that might be. So, just things to keep in mind. Tiffany, what say you on this matter?
I well, okay. So I'm newer with
Mhm.
the contracting, but I would again just piggyback off what both of you have already said. And if you know you want something, if it's specific, and you got to pay. I mean, be ready to pay. Um, if if you know you can't pay, be ready to work your way up and be ready to accept what you can pay for until you can get to where you want to be.
Yeah,
And again, I always keep an open mind. I know I have went into things and I'm like, this is my dream and it's got to be just like this, and it just didn't work.
hmm,
But you got to keep an open mind, and especially when you're going with contractors and creatives, they've already got a vision. Most of the time, if you can come to them and tell them something, like they were saying a while ago, they will elevate your vision,
yeah,
make it even better than what you were walking in with. So I would definitely say keep an open mind, ask questions. Certainly don't micromanage anyone. Um,
Lord, please,
I
please, because if I
don't
get a
don't
text, is
don't call people.
is KeTohn
I'm
finished?
guilty. You
Ma'am, that
sitting
was
there
30
watching
minutes
your
ago.
clock. Let these people work. I mean, you communicate what you want and say, is this doable? And you let the creative, because that's what they do, they're creators, let them say, hey, yep, this is very doable, or we could probably tweak it right here. And then you go and you wait. And that's the best way to have, to me, a good relationship with contractors. So if you do have to come back to them, they won't mind working with you.
Hmm.
I mean, I know if I'm doing something for someone and you have half paid me, you have micromanaged, you keep adding,
Amen. Amen.
I probably won't be back. I'll finish that because I have committed to it,
Hmm.
but I probably won't be accepting any more of your business, even
You
if I
preaching
need it.
to my soul.
Even if I need it. So I think when you're dealing with contractors, and this is my opinion, although it's your business, you gotta, when you're a leader, you also have to learn when to step back and follow a little bit too.
Yeah.
So, and that when you're giving somebody a job to do, if you delegated what you couldn't do to someone
Hmm.
else, you need to learn to follow their lead and give input where it's needed. And that's what I would
Key
say.
words. Yes, that's a strong statement. When it's needed, where it's needed. And when you said that, you made me think about when I used to work in retail before I became a store manager. And I something clicked for me one day because I was struggling with finding people that were passionate. Sometimes I could, but in other cases I found people that just seemed like they were just there to be there, which I get it because they're not paying a good amount sometimes. But my thing is if you signed up for it and you said you're gonna show up. And if you're not or you don't like it, don't and find something else. So at that time, I saw something in myself. I said, what was it that made me so passionate about working with certain managers? And then I remembered it was the level of ownership that they allowed me to have in my role. I knew that I wasn't the store manager. I knew that it wasn't my company. I knew that I wasn't making the policies, but they gave me a level of ownership that made me proud of wanting to be a part of that project. So even though it was not my business, when customers would come in, I would treat them like it was my business when I was in the building. And they could feel that. And that's why they kept coming back. And that's why I had a book of clients that would call me or they would call the store and ask if I was working. And if I wasn't, they'll just come back the day that I am. That's why when people would come in, sometimes customers, they already knew I could help them. So they would just tell me what they needed, what their budget was. Sometimes they didn't have budget. They just say where they're going, what they need, and give me an outfit. And then I go get a whole outfit together, put in the fitting room. They try it on, they walk out, $1,000 sale, on to the next, just like that. And it was fun. And that's because of the level of ownership that my leaders allowed me to have in that building. So when I think about that, I transfer that into my business now. And I had to learn very quickly that it is my business, but it's not just my business. And I say that because I have clients, I have contractors, I have friends, I have family members, people in my community where it's not just my business. It's our community, it's our business. And I say that with so much appreciation to know that like my clients, they take ownership in being a part of this community. You can't have that level of someone want to take that level of ownership if you don't create a space where they can do that. So if you're coming in somewhere and it's, well, give me this, give me that, give me that, instead of what do you need from me so that you can succeed? What is required in order for us to make something great happen? How can we collaborate? How can I meet what I need and you meet what you need? What ways can I support you and provide benefit to this project? These are the types of questions you have to ask as a leader. And if it doesn't make sense for you, that is totally fine. There's ways to communicate that it doesn't make sense, and there's ways to let go of contracting services. And that's okay, where there's no harm, no foul. But it's all about the way that we set the tone in the beginning and how we develop that relationship over time. That being in my ear, you over here, blowing in my eardrums while I'm trying to complete this task, it's just not, I could get it done so much better if, with that silence and then come to you and have that finished product. So yes, I definitely love what you said because it made me think of that sentiment. But go ahead. Did you want to share yourself? What advice do you have for someone to help them have a better outcome or relationship with contractors and service providers?
My advice would be, and again, I'm kind of newer, but my advice would be to do your homework. Make sure that who you're going to aligns. Don't be afraid to ask questions, but make sure you're asking the questions that's going to move the needle. But
Yeah.
definitely do your homework and um, get someone that aligns with where you're trying to go. And this is another thing too. I have this is personal. I have given someone um what I wanted them to do,
Hmm.
and I did leave it alone, but I never checked on it. I didn't. I just
Come back.
left it there. I didn't come. I when I got back, they had it done, and now I'm ready to ask. I'm ready to say, "Oh, but I like pink. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
but I like blue." I hadn't said any of that up front. I hadn't voiced anything. I just simply said, "Can you do it?"
Yeah.
Then I'm over there. Now it's the finished product. Now I'm ready to make changes. Well, I've wasted these people time in mine too because I could have
The
I could
laugh.
have said this up front. So definitely go in and let them do their job. But if you know there's something specific, if you know I definitely want pink here, tell them that up front. Don't wait till something's done and then go give a bad review on someone because you didn't take the initiative or take the time to tell them what it is that you're trying to do, or at least give a vision. But I have. I'm guilty of it. I have given what I wanted. I gave someone a job, and then I'm gone. And then when I show back up for the product, now I'm saying, yeah, but I thought, no, I didn't tell you anything, and you did what you wanted to do. Now I'm looking crazy when I could have just did it up front. So I would say be honest, keep an open mind again, and tell people what you want, and check on it. Ask the questions up front. Don't wait till it's done and then be ready to give somebody a bad review because you didn't get what you wanted, but you didn't communicate anything. Keep communication open.
Yeah.
Um, you're both humans. They could be going through something, you never know, but keep the communication there. Check in,
Yeah.
and that's what I would say. That would be my advice.
I think that's wonderful advice, Tiffany. And the part about checking in, like, I really, I really do feel like people don't realize how many options they have until they start to communicate. Because if you communicate early and you say, well, what if I don't like this? What does that process look like? How much does it cost if I want to make edits after you finish something? What does it normally cost for this? You ask those questions and you kind of get that, and you say, hey, I don't really know what I want yet. I just have an idea of the colors that I like. Can you create something? And how much would it cost to do that? And what would it cost after to add on? Just ask those questions about what that design process looks like, and any questions that pop into your mind in the beginning, because you'd be surprised how smooth the process may be, and also how they can provide you with multiple options. Sometimes the options don't require that you pay anything extra. They just require that you communicate that you're wanting that early, so they can place you in a specific category, and they know, okay, she wants this, she's going to come back, I'm going to let her look at it, and then I'm going to do this, versus I want this, do it, and then come back, and then you're like, no, 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 I want you to do that. So, just the simple communication factor, it really could help that process. And then even if they do charge for certain things, you still have an option as a someone that's a client to decide on if you want it or not, especially if you haven't gotten it yet, because you could say, you know what, I'm not sure if I know what I want yet. And the price point that it would cost for me to change this or that doesn't align with my current funding status right now. So I have to be realistic with my goals. And because of that, I'll have to consider you, but I may have to come back. How long do you have to consider this service? Or how long can you wait before, giving up my slot to somebody else? And go from there. And then keep looking. These are all options that we have. You have to continue to be your biggest advocate when it comes to this. And so I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I don't want people to feel like you go somewhere and then that's just it. They don't care about what it is that you're designing, because it shouldn't feel that way. There's a balance between, I care about what you're wanting and I want to deliver a wonderful service, but I also want to ensure that these marks are being met, because I know as a service provider and as an expert that these are the things that we need to look for. I remember working at a time with a project where an individual was just so set on a certain thing, but her industry already had principles that had proven to get sales and attraction and leads and traffic for what she was wanting. So it wasn't that I could not deliver that. It's that what she expressed was that she wanted to be successful, she wanted to gain attraction, and she wanted to see people get into that website. That's what she was looking for. She wanted traffic. She wanted to be the main attraction in the talk. And the design concept that she was looking at does not align with the industry that you're saying you want to be in and the specific audience that you're trying to reach. So I already had a design that was perfect for this individual that, oh my goodness, I'm trying to tell you, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I just know would have had her on and popping just that quick. All you had to do was put it on there. But at the end of the day, it was her decision. And as a contractor, I allowed them to make those decisions. And I also get to choose on if I want to continue the project or not. That's another layer to this. Contractors, this is an accountability moment for contractors. If something doesn't feel right to you, if it doesn't make sense, if you're not liking it, give the option to release the contract. Don't always try to hold people just because you want to keep the money, save the money, or, because the ego is there. Let it go, because you could be doing them a much better service to let them go and find someone that aligns with what they're wanting and needing, versus to continue to work on a project that you're not passionate about or that does not align with what you have to deliver. And that's okay too. And that way it's a mutual decision. There are no hard feelings. Even if it's not mutual and you still want to release it, there's still no hard feelings if you communicate ahead of time on your end. Sometimes you can't control somebody else's feelings, because I remember having somebody who was like, no, you're gonna, this is a crazy story, but they were like, you're gonna work for me. No, thank you. So, I was like, no, I don't do that. And they continued on. They were like, no, you're going to work for me because I want this. And you said that you could do this service. And I had to just redirect. And then the way they were talking to my team members, you're going to help me. You're going to do this. And if you don't, there's going to be repercussions. If you don't, it might have to turn legal. This is what I need. Keep in mind, there has been no payment received to my account. We have had no agreement, no contract for any services. We have not sat down and confirmed anything. It was more so they had in their mind what they wanted, and because they had their own idea of how this was going to be, when they realized that I'm not going to do that, it was really, I guess, disruptive for them. But yeah, no. So, you have to learn how to be your biggest advocate in both of those situations, and don't take anything personal. Don't hold on to anything. Just know I'm here to get a job done. And like Tiffany said, this is important. Make sure you are asking the questions that are going to move the needle forward. Oh my goodness. That is a piece of advice that will save you so much time and money. If there's anything that you take from this podcast, I need you to take that. Make sure you're asking the questions that will move the needle forward. I had someone who was upset about something, and I didn't know they were upset about something because they didn't ask me. They didn't tell me, first of all, they didn't communicate they were upset, number one, but they didn't ask any questions about what they were upset about. They started off with asking questions about, how much experience do you have? I didn't understand where that question was going when it was being asked. I genuinely thought they wanted to know how much experience I had. I talked about this with you, Tiffany. So my slow self over here, well, I do this and I do that and I do that, in person and over line, not even realizing they're not asking me because they genuinely want to know how much experience I have. They're asking me a question because they are upset with something else. We have to ask questions that move the needle forward. What is it that you're able to do for me right now? Because I'm feeling a little concerned about this. How can you alleviate that for me? That's the question. Sometimes we don't know what it is we're trying to ask, but that's the question that individual wanted to ask. Or look, let me not say what she wanted to ask, but what she should have asked, because this would have moved the needle forward a lot faster than me sitting here, on my portfolio horse, going through all the different things in the experience. What kind of experience do you have? No, how about, I'm concerned about this. What is it that you can do to alleviate those concerns? Because I want to make sure that this is the right thing for me. Can you tell me how, you can alleviate that, or what can be done? That's a question. Moving the needle forward. What can I do for you? Then I can tell you what I can do for you. Then you can decide on if you like that or if you don't like it and move on to somebody that you want to work with, or decide to accept it and move forward. That's the first part of asking the questions that move the needle forward. The second part is knowing what questions just don't need to be asked. Because if it's not something that's moving the needle forward, it's a waste of your time. So just keep to yourself and find that question that you really need to ask a person to get to that next level. And that's not just for clients by any means. That's also service providers. There are so many times where I had to sit before I ask something because I had to think, KeTohn, what is your intention behind asking this question? And then before I ask the question, I say, okay, well, that intention makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and ask the question because I think that if I express that intention and I ask the question, I'll be fine. But sometimes I had to be straight up with myself and say, girl, you don't want to know why she said she didn't like that, because you already know you don't like it and you about to tell her that you can't do it and it don't look right. So why are you going to ask her? And I just had to sit there and sit with myself and come up with the most productive way to ask this question that aligns with intentions that align with where I'm trying to go. So instead of, well, what, why would you do, instead of that, maybe I say, walk me through this decision that you've made with this design. Tell me what you were thinking when you did X, Y, and Z so that I can understand what your goal was. Now, instead of me focusing on being upset about the issue, I'm understanding what her goal or what her intention was behind why she did it, so that I can take that information and I can provide proactive feedback and say, this is important. What you're telling me you're trying to achieve, we can achieve that. I don't think this is a way for you to achieve that. So let's find another route. That is what proactivity looks like over reactivity. So if you can practice that on both ends, you will see much richer experiences. But don't worry, service providers, we'll have another end for you on a different podcast. But today we're going to stay focused on the clients and having better relationships with their service providers. So let's do a quick recap with what everyone said. So Lacole talked about the importance of understanding who you're working with, what it is that you're wanting from them. If you're wanting to add on things to your project, figure out how much that's going to cost and what time frame you have to have it done, because it does require funding. Like, these things, they take time. And if it's a service provider, especially if they're a small business, in many cases, this is like blood, sweat, and tears. Like, we are working our butts off. So if I'm finishing up this project and then you come talking about because I just think that I want to add like 3 more pages and maybe like put some sparkles on the inside, and girl. And then you starting that off. If you're starting that off like that, and we didn't start off with, I would like to purchase an expedition service, we're already starting at the wrong place, because you're giving me information on a project that we never discussed to complete. So that energy and mental space that I'm supposed to be spending on getting done what we're supposed to do, you've now brought something new to my mind. As a creative, I need to be focused on the first thing, get that done. We come back, we add some new stuff. That's fine. But let me tackle this in my own process, because if I have results that have shown you the crispness that I can deliver for a professional, I need you to back up. I need you to back up. And you can go and look at like different clients. You can ask people for portfolios. You can ask them what their most recent project was, or something that they're currently working on. And if they don't have it, again, that's your choice as a client. Maybe I don't want to go there because she didn't have enough information, or maybe I don't want to be here because I'm just not sure if this aligns with my industry. That's okay. You can even ask, what experience do you have in my industry? That's all great. But that adding on part, we got to be realistic now, because you got to put yourself in the service provider's shoes. Act like you're going to your job. Like that last podcast. You go to your job and your manager says, hey, I need you to train about 20 more people, and I need you to do what the managers do. But I can't pay you anything extra. I just need you to do that instead today. Okay? We start at 7. Meet me there, and don't be late. I know you're going to be going through a list of substances that they must have taken that morning for them to even get to the place where they thought that you're going to be coming to that building at 7. You're thinking, what's wrong? You're concerned for them mentally and emotionally and spiritually, probably. You're praying for them because you're not showing up at 7 a.m. to do that job and train 20 people at the same pay rate. So, think about that. And when you think about that, then you'll understand that aspect of adding on. Now, what Tiffany said, it's okay to be your biggest advocate. Don't feel like you can't communicate what you like or what you want. If there's a specific way you want something done, if there's something that you like, say it, put it out there. Don't be afraid to, because at the end of the day, you don't want relationships where being direct or transparent with a person is going to shake them or scare them anyways. And that's in any relationship. So if I say I want a professional, crisp website and I want black and white, a little bit of color, and I need this done in a week and I can't wait any longer. If that shakes them, then maybe you just need to go find somebody different. And that's okay. But you're going to say that to the right service provider who's going to say, I got you. I can do that for you. Here's the price point. Here is the deadline. And here's the contract. Send. And from there, you review that estimate. You decide on if it makes sense for you. And if it does not, then you move on and you keep going until you find the person that is right for you. So I do love the balance of conversation that we had today about knowing that people are human, checking in on them, but also still you can hold them accountable and you can communicate what it is you're expecting and what you're looking for. Understanding that it's okay to communicate if things don't work or make sense. Asking questions about what their policies look like, the process of designing. What happens if I want to change something? How many times do I get to do a design? Because depending on how much you paid will determine how many times you get to do a design. If you pay for a very higher price project, you might be getting like 2 or 3 different edits before the final design. If you paid like $20, $50, 50, what they say, 50 and some change, yeah, you're gonna get one edit. And after that, we stacking on for each edit you want done. Sorry, we just can't do it around here. Okay? So it just depends. But you have to ask those questions. You have to be okay with those questions and not, be angry at someone for having their own standards or way of doing things because they've been doing this before you came, so it don't have anything to do with you. And then you have to be ready and willing to get up and walk away if it just doesn't make sense for you. It's just that simple. And then you will have some enriching experiences with contractors. I do that now and it works so well. And it's hard sometimes getting through the noise as a client looking for a contractor because you got a whole bunch of people promising different things and you don't know who's real. And you have a whole bunch of people presenting themselves one way. And then when you get with them, it's not real. I just recently had three professionals report to me privately that they purchased a service, a plan, or some level of consulting and coaching that they saw that was supposed to look like this and be this. And then when they got it, they realized that there was not the substance there. So I know it can be hard trying to figure out who's real, who's really going to support you, who's serious about what they do. But one of the easiest ways to scout out if a person is legitimate when you're hiring a contractor or service provider, one, because there's many, and you're not just going to go buy one, but this is one that you can use. How much they value their time. Pay attention to the conversations you have. Pay attention to the communication system. Pay attention to how many times you have to repeat something or share something in the process of you telling them what you need. Pay attention to how much they repeat themselves. If they value their time, more than likely, they're going to understand that it's important to respect yours. If they do not value their time, more than likely, they're going to waste it. They're going to waste yours because they're already wasting their own. And that principle applies in so many areas of life, in friendship, in relationships. You know how many times I looked at a person as a friend and was like, yeah, I love you, but girl, you say you come to this event, you don't show up to this event, we're not going to be friends. So I just had to accept that you're just going to be that friend that I invite you and it's a maybe you'll come, maybe you won't, but I will not depend on you for these things, because if you don't care about your own time enough not to be doing double work and not to have to, oh, I can't do this, oh, I want that, then you're not going to be able to value or respect mine. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to their experience. Pay attention to how they treat you and how they treat other people when they're not getting what they want. And when I say treat, I mean how they speak to them, because that will tell you a lot about a person, especially when it comes to contracts and service providers. If you say, I can't do it, unfortunately, and they start going, well, it's really not that expensive, I don't understand. Red flag, get out of there, go find you somebody else to do that website. If you say, this is kind of expensive, and they say, well, unfortunately, Red flag, get out of there, because somebody who is secure in themselves doesn't feel the need to try to belittle you simply because you have a different vision. They're secure in what they're doing for themselves. So what my conversation usually looks like for a professional is, first off, I'm already asking, what are you seeking and what is your funding status? Those are my questions. After they've applied and I know that they're an ideal candidate. So usually we don't even have to go through all that, because we already know by the time we get here now that you are an ideal client candidate. I can assist you. What is your funding status? And when I know that, I can determine if there's something that we're able to do invoice wise, if this is an upfront payment. And then I can also determine what kind of way I'm going to be able to assist you. And if you say, oh, well, I'm sorry, KeTohn, I can't do that. $100 a month, that's kind of ooh. Or, 1,000, that's ooh, I can't. I simply say, well, I appreciate you. Thank you for your interest. I will tell my team members to tell them, thank you for your interest, and then let them go about their day. Have a great day. And if you ever change your mind, we're here. Or in the meantime, try a free resource. Tiffany can attest to that. Like, she's one of our membership specialists. And that's one of the things we talk about is, like, if somebody cannot purchase a membership or they're not really ready at that moment, go and send them to a free resource, because that free resource might be what brings them back in the future when they are ready. So that is usually the way you can tell when somebody is like a professional that's credible and confident. They're not trying to drag you into the pits when you say, no, you're not interested or you're not sure. Yeah. I just say, okay, that's okay. Resources over here, good to go. No pressure. There's nothing else that's needed. So those are some red flags you can look for when you are thinking about hiring a service provider too. Did any of you ladies have anything else you want to add on or piggyback? We got about like maybe 5 more minutes. No, good to go. Okay, good. So I think that we've covered pretty much everything. I hope that whoever's listening to this podcast was able to take something beneficial and productive from it. The goal is not to make anyone feel like, shame or anything like that. The goal is for you to see a different perspective so that you can have more fruitful relationships. And then if you understand what motivates people and what doesn't, you will see so much more positive things happen and come from that. I can speak to that from my own experience in business. People ask me all the time, how did you get here? How did you meet all these people? How did you develop these connections? What did you do to get here? And my answer that I keep telling people, which is golden, is you allow people to show up as they are. You are direct and you are your best advocate. You communicate what you need. And if it doesn't make sense for you, you simply move on and you leave them where they're at. And when you need to go back there, they're there, because the way that you did it was respectful and it was direct. And people who appreciate transparency, they will love that. So that's why I have people who come to me and, I haven't even told them about my business and they're already excited about it. That's why I can go to an event and a person tell me, I'm already following you on social media. I've had a couple events where a person came up to me and told me they're already following me. And I didn't even know. One of them was at Lacole's event. And I was like, so these moments, I'm just like, oh, okay. And then I had one time, I think this was at Lacole's event too, where someone was talking to me and I know they were talking to me because I didn't know them. So they were like, you're going to be posting it live on here, right? And I'm looking around, like looking at Lacole. I didn't know they was talking to me. So I was like, you talking to me? Yes, I follow you. I was like, oh. So, that comes from just accepting where people are at, appreciating what it is that they provide, and being your authentic self. People will already want to be a part of that mission regardless. I have team members now that I work with, partners, contractors, and everybody just is a beast on their own. I don't even have to ask. This is the best level leadership in my life I've ever been in. Like, I remember working in retail where I would have people, I'd be like, did you call the customers back? I know she ain't called the customers back, but let me act all friendly and go up to her and say, did you call the customers? Knowing in my mind, she ain't called no customers. And it's the same response every time. Oh no, because I had to sweep the floor. I had to do the orders. Girl, we didn't have no orders today. Did you call? I remember those moments in management, and I just drive me crazy. Have my eye twitching. And then I was young, so I have no patience either. So I just, hey, okay, well, I'll go ahead and call them, even though I told you to call them 30 minutes ago. But it's all right. I'll call. No problem. You focus on those orders. it would have me it would have me crazy. And and my mom, I always laugh because in the moment I'll be telling my mom, be like, she got me all the way messed up. We're not doing this because this not happening. She's like, trust me, you care about it now. In 5 years, you will not care this much. I promise you. And I was like, no, this is my respect. People need to see. And then 5 years later, I'm laughing about it because now I don't even have to like, I don't even have to check in on my team. Sorry. Listen, we're gonna have to make a whole nother podcast for the thoughts that went through my head versus what came out of my mouth in retail. But I don't even have to do that anymore. I literally just check in with my team just to say how are you or to give them updates on information. I don't even have to ask, did you read this? They already did it. They did it the day I put it out. They don't have to, but they did it. I had one of our membership specialists, Nicole, came to me and was like, hey, I'm about to publish a book. And I think that the membership specialist opportunity with my 10% off is perfect to put in the book. And I was like, heck yeah. And then she was like, hey, do you have a flyer that I can put my face on so that I can tell people I'm a specialist? And I was like, yeah, I can get that. She was like, how much would that cost? I was like, girl, I'm not going to charge you. This is my marketing. Like, I'll get that taken care of for you. But it's like the level of initiative and the level of just get it done. It's just so smooth. There's no micro anything. Like micro what? I couldn't if I wanted to micromanage because they're already thinking about the next level before I get there. So they're coming back to me with ideas or information. Tiffany came to me with a suggestion about memberships. Like, what about if people want to join and they might need this? And I'm like, oh yeah, we do have those kind of memberships available. Like it's the same membership, it's just a different payment plan. These are things that I don't even have to think about. The old me would have been like, okay, and I need you to do this, and then we do that, and then did you finish it? Now I work, I go to sleep, I rub my feet together, I wake up to wonderful notifications from my teams saying that things are done. My partners, my team members, my clients, it's just done. It's like it's the best, it's the best ever. I don't even know how, I can't express that enough. Like if you're a micromanager, I promise you need to get on the other side because you will never go back in your life. It's just as simple as telling somebody what you want and how you want it. And if they say they can't do it, move on to the next person that can. And you're gonna keep moving until you get somebody that knows how to do it, probably better than you do, or probably has at least 5 or 10 more ideas. Man, I have clients who come up with ideas for the directory now. They just say, hey, what about we do this? Can we have an event that we do that? And I'm like, okay, let me think about it. And I come back. Lacole just thought about that the other day. She just mentioned something. And I'm like, okay, cool. Just, I can't tell you how much of a load that just takes off of me. And it's a load that I choose to take off myself versus trying to be everywhere, do everything, because it's impossible. And there's always going to be somebody that knows something better than you do. And you need to be able to let them do that. Just let them do it because they already know it. So why fight the nature of it? So, yeah, that's my little lesson for the night, y'all. Do that so y'all can rub y'all's feet together too. I'm telling you, I'll be tired, but it's a good rest because we're
I'm
doing good.
working on it. I'm
It's
working on
good, good. You are though. You are behind the scenes. You've been doing a lot. You've been doing a lot, Lacole. So kudos to you. It's a journey, right? All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this conversation. We appreciate you. Let's see. Okay, I said 5 minutes like 5 minutes ago, but I did want to just briefly give both of you ladies an opportunity to share what is one product or service in your business that you would like people to be aware of. And you can introduce yourself as well. We really just need to be off by like 8:25 because, I got to get ready for our movie night, get my food. But yeah, go ahead.
My name is Lacole Smith. I am the CEO and founder of AL Publishing and Consulting LLC. Also, the host and founder of Motivational Talk Dialogues and Show. I would like to talk about my author coaching course. And definitely, we have a scholarship going. Boss Bay Blog and AL Publishing and Consulting have a scholarship out there where you're only paying $25 for this author coaching course. It is taking $175 off of your total. So if you want to be an author, there is no excuse as to why you cannot be an author. with a scholarship like this. And like she say, people are bringing things to you. She brought it to me like, why don't we do this, Lacole, so we can? And I'm like, okay, whatever you say. Exit strategy, stamp. Okay, thank you, and keep going. But this is something that will benefit you if you want to write a book. The information is going to be there. You have to just go into the community, get the information, learn the information, and for $25 one time fee, one time, not continuously, a one time fee of $25, and you can have your course for 12 months. That means you can take as long as the 12 months, or you can take like somebody 4 days. So um it's there, it's available, and it is very unique to AL Publishing and Consulting. My way of training is different than other people would train you because it's done with love and it's done with intention. So take advantage of this. Boss one, BOSS, all caps. One is the code. If that code does not work, we have a $50 scholarship that's in place as well, which is BOSS2, and it does the same thing except it takes you down to $50 instead of 25. But either way, you're getting to write your book, be an expert in your field, and do the things that you've been planning on doing for a long time because you're in that 1 percentile. That's all I got.
Can I ask you a question? That Miss Lacole, that so what if you would this benefit someone who's written a book and maybe they want to get more knowledge for the next book that they're writing?
It is
Okay,
definitely something that will give you more knowledge for the
okay.
next book because a lot of people, when they write their first book, they don't understand the total concept of everything because they're just in that learning stage. So this is definitely something that will elevate you with your next book.
Thank you.
That was a great question. Great question. And I have taken the course for anybody who wants to know. I'll be quick because I got to get that chicken. But I have taken the course. Look, I'm watching that clock. But I've taken the course and I enjoyed it. I did complete it in 4 days. I'm someone that likes to get the stuff done on my own and come back and let you check my work type of person. That's just me because my brain is always going. So I don't like to be like, I can't sit still. I can, but it's painful. So when I got the course, I was asking her, what all do I need to complete? What would you recommend? She gave me my list of instructions specifically to my goals. And then I went and knocked that thing out in 4 days. And so now my next step is getting my book placed on Amazon. And she assists with that as well. So I highly recommend for everybody who wants to be a part of that, get to that community because she will help you with learning how to get those physical prints, different options that you have. And if you need those copies through Amazon, KDP, and you're struggling with the colors and things like that, Lacole is the person to go to. And you will see that very soon because I'm about to have my book up there as well. So,
Thank you.
ah,
I was asking for myself. That's why I asked that question, and I will be
oh, yes,
checking
yes.
it out.
I feel
And
for
my
research.
name is my name is Tiffany, founder of Radiantly Crown. My mission is to help women who have been in toxic relationships or who have experienced seasons of grief, extreme grief, reclaim their closure and their identities in the process. I was once that woman, and I definitely want to help someone get to the next step in their healing journey. And right now, I am offering 20 sessions to 20 women or men of coaching. It does not have to be about relationships, it can be on any topic that you want to discuss, that maybe you're stuck and you're trying to figure, how do I get to that next level? I'm ready to help guide you to that next level and to help you get to another place so that you can progress and go on and be good. So I will have that linked on my YouTube and my Facebook. I will have that up by tomorrow, first 20. And it is free. And all I am asking is for a review if it does help you.
Oh, I love that. And she came with a rhyme if it does help you. We got a jingle. But wonderful. I do have to definitely give my kudos, flowers, everything to Tiffany because she has talked about this topic of being the person that left that relationship or that environment that did not serve her, breaking cycles, working through the emotions when you realize that you have a cycle you need to break. So get in there. And there's something that like also popped in my brain. I love the fact that in our community we sharpen each other. I can't just say as women because we have more than women in our community now, but we sharpen each other as individuals. So where you might need publishing and consulting work, you can go to AL Publishing Consulting. Where you may need some coaching with getting out of toxic relationships, toxic work environments, you can go to Tiffany. You can go to Ebony. Where you need travel, you can go there. Where you need business consulting, you can come here. If you need design, you can go to, depending on what type of design, AL Publishing Consulting might have it. Digital Studio might have it. Ravens Rights DFW. It's just such a beautiful thing. So I want to leave with a message that please make sure, when I say please make sure that you take advantage of the services and the resources that are available to you in our community, because no matter what part of your life it is, there's somebody here who can help you. We have that now. We have physical brands, wellness brands. So get your mind right, get your physical right, make sure you're around people who are supporting your goals and your dreams and your business. But we have somebody in every field. And then on top of us having that, each individual has resources, communities, or some level of content that you could be consuming right now, even if you feel like you're not ready to make a commitment yet. Whether that's because financially you're not at that space, or whether it's because you are financially able to, but you're not ready mentally because you need to see what it entails. We have those options available. So please, 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 please take advantage of these wonderful professionals that are in our community. And that's the message I want to leave with everybody. This is a judgment free zone. We all have feelings and we're humans, but we also know that we're humans. So we're here to help other people and help them get to a better space. Um, Thank you so much for listening to the Boss Babe Blog podcast. I do have to head out because I got to go get that food. We have our boss movie night. So we're going to be watching a member in our directory, Jada J. She happens to be an actress, a songstress. And we're about to select the movie and then put on a movie for all director members. Y'all can come join us. Members only, $0. Come have a good time. Bring you some snacks. I got some homemade ice cream. I was going to get the crawfish, but I might have to get the crawl tomorrow. But we got some homemade ice cream. We got some chicken. We got some orange soda. Might make us a little, cream float thing. I'm feeling frisky tonight. We might get us some water, get us some sparkling cider. But that's what it's looking like this evening. So I got to jump into that next room. Y'all have a great evening, and we will talk to you soon.